Superior characteristics such as the Burke-Hala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and filament cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno, a coconut cultivar often made into a dessert, was pioneered and perfected. Meanwhile, the Dairy Training and Research Institute was the first in the country to freeze buffalo semen, paving the way for artificial insemination of local carabaos. Along with the establishment of UPLB in the 70s, the college received the prestigious Ramon Magsaysay Award for International Understanding, Asia's counterpart for the Nobel Peace Prize. In the same decade, the C4 plants were developed. The soil test kits were produced in support of the Masagana 99 program, and the mango induction technique was introduced. Continuing the production of quality research outputs in the 1980s, techniques to minimize post-harvest losses, the accelerated fish sauce manufacturing process, and the rapid test kit for the detection of pesticide residue on vegetables were developed. The 1990s saw many new varieties across species or crop types, including Sinta papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian species or crop types, including Sinta papaya, the first Philippine-bred hybrid, UPLB Gold, a durian variety, and Doña Amelita, a musaenda named after the wife of former President Fidel Ramos. The award-winning National Corn-Based Farmer Scientist RDE Training Program, or FSTP, was also established around this time and still remains as one of the university's primary extension programs. In the field of instruction, the book titled Integrating Sustainable Agriculture in the BSA Curriculum, the UPLB College of Agriculture Experience, was published in 1999. At present, the College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, continues to be the premier institution of higher learning in agriculture and food science, and remains committed to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension programs. In order to produce the best graduates, all of our courses are outcomes-based education, and continuous improvement of the curriculum is being practiced to meet the challenges of the 21st century. As testament of excellence, CAFS is constantly recognized by different organizations. In research, we continue to implement relevant studies with focus on the 12 priority commodities to address food security. Moreover, technologies are constantly developed to aid in responsible food production. Supplementing these are extension activities to disseminate the knowledge generated to improve food productivity and livelihood of the people. We believe that present technologies will future-proof our food systems. Some of our notable developments are iDetect, Coraginam, Plant Health and Pest Clinic, Pest Management Tools and Techniques, Smarter Pest Identification Technology or SpeedTech, Snap Hydroponics, Drone Technology, Rapid Immunofilter Assay for Virus Indexing, Nanofertilizers Fertigrow, Hormogrow, Nanobiosensors, Biochar. We at the College of Agriculture and Food Science will continue to promote and nurture a culture with innovative yet conscientious minds and cutting-edge skills to lead and serve the country and the region. We are one college with one goal towards sustainable food systems.
Good afternoon, everyone. To our participants, welcome to our webinar titled Increasing Coconut Production, Collaborations, and Prospects. Again, a pleasant afternoon, everyone. I'm Diana Baldo, your host for today. Thank you for standing by and welcome to our webinar titled Increasing Coconut Production, Collaborations, and Prospects. This is still part of the webinar series of Aggie's Peace Talk Tree of Life, brought to you by the College of Agriculture and Food Science University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Apart from Zoom, we are also live streaming on the official Facebook page of the UPLB CAPS and on our official YouTube channel. And if you haven't done yet, please like and follow UPLB CAPS official Facebook page and YouTube channel. Please also share this Facebook Live para mas marami pa po ang maabot ng ating programa as we bring you the fourth and last episode of our Coconut Webinar Series this year. Alright, so muli isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. At syempre to ensure a smooth program flow, here are our virtual house rules. So number one, please keep your microphone muted and unless you're called upon to speak. And if you have questions throughout the presentation, please reserve your questions or you may send them through the Zoom chat box and our FB live comment section and YouTube live comment section. And we have our technical team monitoring those questions that would be raised during the open forum. And if you would like to ask your question live, please raise your hand. Ano po, yung ating use yung Zoom function so that we could recognize you. And please keep those questions coming for us to have a fruitful discussion and great sharing of insights. Of course, we are hoping everyone that you'll be able to listen attentively from the beginning until the end of our session this afternoon. All right, so again, welcome to our webinar. And so far, we have more or less 100 participants here in Zoom. So keep it coming dahil ito po ang ating webinar ngayong araw ay napakahalaga sapagkat ito po ay bahagi ng ating agrikultura. All right, so para po magkaroon tayo ng energy ngayong hapon, ano po? So here's an activity po. So ang ating Mentimeter. So if you have strong internet connection and you can access itong ating Mentimeter, ang tanong po natin dyan ay what is your favorite food with coconut? Ayan po. So sige po, antayin po natin ang inyong mga kasagutan para malaman natin kung alerto pa po kayo ngayong hapon. So ang ating technical team will send us the responses of our participants. Once again, good afternoon. So we have different participants ano po, mula Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at i-acknowledge ka lamang din po ang ilan sa mga nag-register po ating sa Zoom registration link. So we have the De La Salle Araneta University, Central Mindanao University, Iloilo State College of Fisheries, Mindanao State University, Agusan del Sur State College of Agriculture and Technology, Calian Sebaste Antique Coconut Farmers Association, Siliman University, Caracar City College, UPLB AA, Mindoro Chapter, the Muhammad Nawaz Sharif University of Agriculture, Bohol Island State University, Visayas State University, LGU, Ginayangan. So babasahin ko lamang po while waiting sa ating responses ng ating mga participants kung ano ang paborito niyo pong pagkain with coconut. So we have the Visayas State University, LGU Ginayangan, Cagayan State University, Sanchez Mira Campus, Cebu Technological University, New Era University, Rizal Branch College of Agriculture, City Government, Island Garden City, of Samuel. So yung iba po, if you would like to be acknowledged, so you may send the name of your institution via our Zoom chat box. All right, so ito po ang lumabas na resulta sa ating katanungan. What is your favorite food with coconut? So ayan po, kitang-kita po natin ang buko pie, buko salad, Bicol Express. Meron. So iba-ibang version siguro ito. So bukayo, buko pandan, buko juice, at iba pa. All right, so thank you very much for your participation. At ngayon naman po ay dumako tayo sa ating opening remarks. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome here in our virtual space the Deputy Director of the Institute of Plant Breeding, none other than Mr. Elmer E. Anicola. Good afternoon, sir.
A pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to the 4th episode and last for this year of the webinar series brought to you by the UPLB College of Agriculture and Food Science, the Aggie Peace Talk, Tree of Life. Thank you for taking the time to attend. I would like also to acknowledge the CAPS webinar committee, Dr. Lilia Fernando, the Associate Dean for Research and Extension, Dr. Barbara Kawilid, our NCPC Director, and our Dean, Dr. Elpidio Agbisit Jr. We are also grateful to our resource speaker, Dr. Edna Aguilar, Professor from the Institute of Crop Science, for accepting the CAPS invitation and for her willingness to share her knowledge and expertise. She will talk this afternoon about increasing coconut production, collaboration, and prospect. So the College of Agriculture and Food Science is one with the university in future-proofing our food system. And by imparting or presenting the results of researches about coconut, which is one of the most important agricultural crop here in the country, and also the Philippines being one of the most important coconut producer in the world. So it is significant that we should know the prospects of increasing coconut production so that we can realize what we have to achieve so that we can improve contribute to the improvement of the coconut industry. Of course, we have to be realistic with our expectations and also observant for better opportunities for this industry. So through this webinar, we also hope to broaden our collaboration, our networks. Thus, your inputs, your insights are very important to us. And please ensure that you will participate in this and we can have a very rich discussion. Also, we expect that each of you will be able to listen attentively to gain reflective knowledge and understanding of our topic. Thank you very much. Have a productive day. Once again, good afternoon, and please let us all keep safe.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Elmer E. Anicola, once again, the Deputy Director of the Institute of Plant Breeding, for giving us your message and welcoming our participants this afternoon. Again, please don't forget to share itong ating Facebook Live video para mas marami pa po ang makapanood at matuto sa ating programa. All right, so I think we are all set, but before we proceed, we are kindly requesting everyone to please turn on your camera for our photo session. Again, we are kindly requesting everyone to please turn on your camera for our photo session. Ayan, is our technical team ready? Ma'am Claire, I hope so. Sige po, so please don't forget to give your biggest smile as we capture the panels. All right, so ating technical team.
Okay, 1, 2, Smile. Okay. Thank you po.
All right, so thank you very much for facilitating our group photo session. And dumako na po tayo sa ating susunod na bahagi ng ating programa. And of course, to introduce our resource speaker this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Rosaline Paelmo, a research coordinator from the Institute of Crop Science. Take it away,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much, Ma'am Dayan. A pleasant and happy afternoon, everyone. Today, we are fortunate to be enlightened on increasing coconut production, collaborations, and prospects. I have the honor of introducing our speaker this afternoon. Dr. Edna Alcacid Aguilar had her Doctor of Philosophy in Plant Science at University of Western Australia. She earned both her Master of Science in Horticulture and Bachelor of Science in Agriculture at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. As a professor at the Institute of Crop Science, she handles courses on crop science, farming systems, multiple cropping, and advanced fruit crop physiology. She serves as advisor to both undergraduate and graduate students major in agronomy and horticulture, including as serving as member of advisory and guidance committees of students within the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Dr. Aguilar has been in conduct of rigorous research, such as varietal selection for undershade cropping systems, legume breeding for intensive rice-based cropping systems, coconut-based farming systems, and other related intercropping studies. Moreover, she already had a research as well on banana root physiology, disease predisposition due to hypoxia, and fruit crops-based farming systems. She also became a member of the Coconut National RDE Network. She was also part of the RDE team that produces RDE notes. She was also a member of the Picard DOST National Coconut Team and Picard National Fruit Crops Experts Pool. Dr. Aguilar is likewise a seasoned administrator, having served the following posts, like being our director at the Institute of Crop Science, research coordinator and project development assistant at the College of Agriculture and Food Science, and also serving as the UPLB research head. Likewise, she also supported the College of Agriculture Dean to streamline the RDE programs and activities of the college along the trust of the university and in support of nation building while coordinating with other units and colleges for the development of interdisciplinary programs for agriculture, food and nutrition security, and safety. Dr. Aguilar also served in various R&D related committees. Likewise, she was our former assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension. Too many, but there's more to come. She also supported the VCRE for the efficient function of the office, support of the RDE programs and activities of the university. She coordinated and served the position for networking and development of various R&D trusts related to the university and interagency committees, particularly on rice and coconut. She also served as ad hoc technical working groups, officer in charge of the OVCRE and Center for Technology Transfer and Entrepreneurship. Modest to say, Dr. Aguilar is engaged in various local and international programs, vis-a-vis, coordinator, resource person, and part of technical management team. All her academic and service-oriented outputs are translated into numerous publications such as referee journals, non-referee journals, technical bulletins, monographs, manuals, including policy papers. She also had significant numbers of scientific paper presentations in local and international conferences and similar fora. Dr. Aguilar also has the timely contribution to the Internet of Things, particularly the Banatech, a mobile application of banana developed through the program Sarai. Apart from her significant leadership in the conduct of numerous research on physiology, cropping systems of industrial crops, she is also pivotal in crafting the Coconut Farmers and Industry Roadmap for 2021 to 2040, including Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, a round of your virtual applause and welcome to our iCrops Pride Crop and Farming Systems Specialist, Dr. Edna A. Aguilar. Ma'am, the Zoom space is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this webinar. I will be discussing for today the need for a systems approach in tackling our goal of increasing coconut production through active and multi-sectoral collaboration. I will draw inputs from the talks of our previous speakers, Dr. Jelfina of the ICT, who talked about the status and the optimistic global prospects for our coconut products, ECA Administrator Madrigal, who discussed the status of the coconut industry and the programs that will ensure its sustainable growth, focusing on the farmers' welfare and social protection, and other national programs contained in coconut farmers and industry development plan funded under the Coconut Levy Trust Fund Act. Last Tuesday, Dr. Alan Ciano of Picardy OSP talked about the research support programs for the coconut industry. So let me give you again a review of some coconut statistics. Coconut remains to be a pillar of our economy. The industry earns an average of 91.4 billion pesos yearly in exports, and three of the traditional coconut products, coconut oil, copra cake, and desiccated coconut, consistently are among the top 10 agricultural exports of the country. While the market prospects for our traditional and a number of our non-traditional products, including VCO, virgin coconut oil, cocoa sugar, cocoa water, are good, our nut production cannot keep up with this demand, which grew by less than 1% over the past 10 years, and from a peak production of 15.8 billion nuts in 2012, it was followed by years of decline and recovery. And by 2019, nut production was still 1.1 billion below the 2012 level, as you see in the graph on the right side, upper right side. Coconuts dominate the agricultural landscape of the country with 3.6 million hectares, comprising almost 27% of the country's arable land. Just imagine if we can utilize the understory of this area, how much it can increase the agricultural production of the country without opening up new land. So it is another good thought. This unified coconut value chain, the most complex among our agricultural commodities, has been shown earlier by Administrator Madrigal. But allow me to discuss this in the context of my earlier premise that addressing the low coconut production needs a holistic approach. The products on the farm level, 80% of which are processed into copra, go through a multi-layered trading before it reaches the processing sector, which produces and markets CNO and its derivatives. The other products, mature green nuts and sap, has a shorter supply chain. Whatever the product, the participation of the farmers in the higher levels of these value chains is limited to copra buying, direct marketing, a little bit of village level processing, big brother, small brother relationships with some processors and exporters. But generally, farmers are disconnected from the commercial scale processors and exporters. Increasingly, however, the market demands, as we see on the right-hand side, okay, enumerated here, are reliant on the farm sector, no, producing more and better quality coconut. Hence, the farmers' participation is key to meeting this market demand. The sustainable growth of the industry is ultimately dependent on the farmers opting to continue maintaining and replanting coconuts and doing better management practices for traceability and sustainable practices. The next slide will summarize the socioeconomic status of our coconut farmers. The production sector is the lifeblood of the industry, supplying the raw materials and feedstocks to the milling and processing sectors. Yet the coconut farmers, as we see in the previous slide and in this slide, are among the poorest and remains marginalized. The National Coconut Farmers Registry System of this year in 2018 indicated that the average landholding is small, 79% are less than 2 hectares. Farms are fragmented, and those in the uplands have accessibility problems, and this contributed to the multi-layered marketing system. 51% of the farmers are landless, composed of tenants, caretakers, and farm workers. The other 49% are owners who could be operating their own farms or could be absentee landlords. Income from coconut is generally low and fluctuating, with 90% living below the poverty threshold of 125,775 in 2019. The long-standing problems of lack of social protection and social benefits for farmers hopefully will be addressed by the passing of the CFID, as discussed by Administrator Madrigal. Okay. In a series of farmers' consultations conducted by PCE in anticipation of the release of the Coco Levy funds, revealed that the farmers are not just interested in improving their coconut production, but they are also interested on intercropping and processing to higher value products. Okay. There are technologies that are already available to increase coconut productivity, but their impact on national production and farmers' income has not been significant given the status at the farm sector given earlier. No, that our yield is only 44 nuts per year. Farmers have low income. The farmers remain poor. Okay? Many interacting factors, both within and external to the farmers, such as the poor coping mechanisms, external shocks, lack of organized community level participation, and the inefficient value chains. These interacting factors, both internal and external to the farmers, influence their final productivity. And as we see, farmers have multiple goals. And so this has to be considered as farmers view their needs, not from just the coconut perspective, but from a total farm perspective. So a holistic problem-solving approach is maybe the approach that we need. The farm household, their resource allocation, interactions within and across their livelihood activities and their given environment is referred to as the farming system. Coconut-based farming systems is an approach that integrates coconut farming with other crops, animal, or processing and value-adding activities to address the goals and aspirations of the farm household. And this could be not just limited to productivity and income, but also sustainability and including climate resilience. It is a holistic approach to problem solving, wherein farmers and coconut farms are the focus of the intervention. The approach is participatory from assessment of farmers' existing conditions to design of interventions that is suitable for the area or for a group of target beneficiaries, implementation, and there should always be a feedback mechanism. Multiple goals considers farmers' goals, which could be, like I said, multiple, to include sustainability, climate resilience, regenerative, and from the point of view of the government, it has to be equitable. Okay? So simple interventions, so it should combine farmer goals, resources, and constraints in the design of intervention. The project scale can be group or cluster of farmers or organizations. The interventions can be as simple as a change in the component technology, such as coconut fertilization, irrigation, supplemental irrigation, pest control, or it could be more complex. Change in variety of coconut and its attendant management, which needs better skills, more inputs, integration of crops and livestock, or processing and value adding, or their combination, which entails more changes in the way that the farmers do their existing farming systems. Okay? And again, in all these interventions, collaborations and partnerships with other agencies and sectors are important. So we cannot cater to the individual needs of the farmers, but we can aggregate target groups, such as a cluster of farmers or an organized group or co-ops. So it could be in the same community or across communities, an organized group, or an umbrella of cooperatives. Projects such as these, again, need support system, a strong support system, and a network of collaborators and partners. Climatic extremes, particularly super typhoons and severe El Nino, has impacted production of coconut and other agricultural crops for years after the event. Major production grids like Davao and Eastern Visayas, for example, has not yet recovered both in terms of hectareage and production from past stresses such as the El Nino and a series of super typhoons, Typhoon Pablo in the case of Davao, and Haiyan, Ruby, and recently Odette in Eastern Visayas. Invasive pests such as the coco lizard devastated coconuts in Calabarzon and Basilan, and this would have impacted production in the following years to come. The Philippines, because of our geographical location, is recurrently exposed to a number of climate risks and hazards. The country ranked fourth among the 10 most vulnerable countries in the long-term climate risk index from 2000 to 2019 and from 1999 to 2018, with the highest number of catastrophic events at 315 during the period. This is according to the German Watch of 2021. The report cited also that the country is still in the process of recovery, from the previous year's impact from the super typhoons like Bofa in 2012, Haiyan 2013, Mangkok 2018, and it seems like every year we have strong destructive typhoons. So the effect and the damages are accumulated. We need to integrate climate resilience in all our production projects and programs. A climate resilient production sector will benefit all stakeholders of the coconut industry and will ensure its sustainability. To do this, we need a short to long-term plan that integrates future climate scenario into the industry's programs and investments. On the ground, we need to capacitate a core of trainers from PCA, LGU, MAO, farmer, co-op leaders on how to design climate resilient coconut-based farming systems, and for them to cascade the disaster risk reduction management and adaptation mitigation strategies on the farm level through a tested farmer field school training strategy. By intercropping, so this series of slides would show us not in order of priority, but some things where we need collaboration to support the production sector. So again, farm diversification. By intercropping, we diversify and increase the farmers' income sources. We spread their income and thus spread the risk. When we take care of the intercrops, we fertilize, we irrigate them without even changing the management of coconut, as we have shown, as we have reported in our past studies. Nut yield can increase after 1 to 2 years, and we call it the shower effect. Land use is intensified and is more productive. So land equivalent ratio, for example, for coconut and banana intercropping system, land equivalent ratio is 2.13. So, and income is double. So what does it mean? While the coconut yield is increased by 1.3, the banana is yield under intercropping is reduced compared to monocrop by 0.7%, but still, when you combine them, the land use equivalent is higher. So meaning to say that the yield of 1 hectare of intercrop coconut and banana is equivalent to a monocrop of 1 hectare, is equivalent to a 2.13 hectare monocrop of coconut. Okay. So next, please. The simplest intervention is to increase crop productivity. From the technical point of view, is to reduce the yield gap, as you see in the graph, no? Through technologies that are already available. Here it is fertilization, no? And TCA is not one thing in technology. Good varieties and hybrids, so selected OPVs, okay? Balanced fertilization, supplemental irrigation has been shown to really improve the yield. Integrated pest management, no? And when the farms are ready, the farmers are already practicing this. Farmers should be given support for their certification. Okay. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so however, there are socioeconomic circumstances that could prevent farmers from adopting this technology. More so from investing their own limited resources that will take for technologies that will take 1 to 2 years pending a disaster to realize the benefits from. So what happens for the fertilization program? The farmers will apply the fertilizer when it is provided free, but when the program stops, fertilization on the farm level also stops. Instead, one approach that we could follow, and this would need, again, the collaboration and the support from private sector, from the local government agencies, DCA and other DA and DA agencies, no, is what other countries have done. In Sri Lanka, for example, Dr. Losada, when we were doing the cocoa film, said that the farmers are incentivized to use coconut husk as mulch, or if they use a certain number, like 15 husks in a planting hole. No? In India, farmer organizations are supported to produce their own organic fertilizers. Capacitating farmers to monitor and report crop health will avoid, hopefully, another CSI problem. Crop protection for coconut has been relegated traditionally to PCA, as what we have seen in the cocoa visa problem. As farmers who practice pest and disease management on a regular basis are more the exceptions rather than the rule. Farmers Field School has been found to be an effective strategy to capacitate farmers on improved adaptive management. So this has to be upscaled and outscaled to as many coconut producing communities as there are. So, okay, next please. We have to level up the typical diversification projects such as intercropping. Dr. Emil Javier advocated during the webinar series of 2021, create agribusiness hubs of coconuts and intercrops. He was saying about coffee towns, cacao towns, you know. With coconut as the base crop, we should level up cooperative marketing. So for both coconuts, intercrops, or livestock, or value-added products. Okay. In one project, we put up a redryer, a simple redryer in the co-op, and they improved the quality of copra that they market, and they increased the volume and thus their income for every delivery, with lower moisture content, better quality, higher price, less reduction in MTM penalty. The cooperative should be the agribusiness entity that services its members, the one that seeks technical support so that they could practice standardized production practices, consolidating produce, no, for cooperative marketing. An example given in the cocoa farm for the livestock, for the poultry, is like the patterned after the private sector all in, all out production system. So multi-sectoral support to strengthen farmers' organizations and cooperatives is key to developing these agribusiness hubs and corridors. As not every coconut farmer can be an agripreneur in practice. They could have the mindset, but in practice, it should be through the cooperative. In numbers, farmers would have strength. With volume of produce, they will have the bargaining power. Okay. Design of coconut-based farming systems should be market-driven, anchored on the provincial development agenda or the one town, one product, the PAFES trust can be followed to ensure support of the LGUs. Next. Support from the academy. We need innovations to support the production sector from the academy and other research institutions. Okay, we should seek it to level up the tree population inventory, the plant health, and pest and disease monitoring for early warning. We should use various search engines, as we see there, for data analytics on what is demanded information for coconut and what are the demanded products of internet users, okay, to promote the industry and the focus our research and promotional campaigns. Okay, harmonization of coconut statistics between PC and PSA, for example, using drone and remote sensing technologies, should provide decision aid tools to our policy and decision makers on how to prioritize programs and to entice private sector investment. Harmonization of the National Coconut Farmers Registry System with the RSBSA list will provide coconut farmers additional crop and livestock insurance benefits from PCIC and other support systems from DA and other agencies. In the crafting of the cocoa film, we interviewed stakeholders across the coconut value chain clusters and on the processors and exporters, and they have expressed their willingness to support the adoption of good management practices on the farm sector, and such as provision of capital, provision of consistent market, certification support, and incentives for farmers. With multi-government agencies mandated by the Coconut Levy Trust Fund Act to support the CFIDP programs, which include hybridization and farm improvements, shared facilities, and the LGUs being strengthened to undertake development projects through the Mandanos ruling, the coconut farmers, through their cooperatives and organizations, should benefit from this multi-sectoral collaboration and convergence of support. While government support is expected from CFIDP, by the way, although we should view this as seed monies that will get the ball rolling in the modernization of the coconut industry. It may look so big, but with many problems that they have to face, it will contribute, but if we cannot answer all the concerns. Okay. An important recommendation to increase farm productivity and farmers' income is the professionalization of the coconut workforce, particularly those landless workers, tenants, and caretakers. We hope for them to be trained, by TESDA and even CHED and ATI to do good management practices for coconuts and intercrops. Particularly that there is a need for skilled workers in harvesting at the right maturity, depending on the intended use of coconut. They would also be useful and helpful in establishment, maintenance, and harvest of intercrops. So here we have a model of 12, a model requiring an investment of a little, I think, 3 million hectares to involve 12 people, some equipment, and they could rotate and manage about 115 hectares among themselves. Okay. So in closing, let me say that sustainable growth and global competitiveness of the various coconut industry value chains is dependent on the productivity of the coconut farms, which of course provides the feedstock for all these industries. Thus, improving the productivity, efficiency, profitability, and sustainability of the coconut farms, and empowering the coconut farmers to do that and encourage them, incentivize them should be at the core of the industry and government policy. So with that, I thank everyone for your for listening, and I'm open for your questions.
All right, so thank you very much, Dr. Edna Aguilar, for presenting the collaborations and prospects in escalating the coconut production. And I am sure our participants have a better understanding on where we are and where the coconut industry is heading. At this juncture, we are now opening our virtual floor for the questions. So this is now the open forum. So again, please keep your questions coming for us to have a fruitful discussion. So you may type your questions using the Zoom chat box, FB Live comment section, and YouTube comment section. So let us take this opportunity to learn from one another and gain more knowledge from our speaker. And may I call on again Dr. Rosalyn Paelmo to please facilitate the open forum. Ma'am?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Dayan. And of course, thank you very much to our dear mentor at iCrafts as well. We fondly call her, no, Ma'am Ed. So from now on, I'll be calling Professor Aguilar as our fondly mentor, Ma'am Ed. So while we are still awaiting for your questions and comments to come in, okay, please do remember to identify yourself, include your institutional affiliations as well for the proper recognition. Hi, Ma'am Ed.
Hello. Good afternoon po
Okay.
sa ating lahat.
Yeah, so we are just waiting for comments and clarifications. But while we are waiting for that, no, this is very interesting. As we know po, you have mentioned about the existence of cluster farmer organizations. Are they already identified and documented by PCA po so that it could facilitate collaborative work?
Actually, based on the NCFRS, no, yung initial, only 30% of our farmers are members of active organizations and cooperatives. But PCA, lalo na during their Coco month, no, they always feature the more successful and the more awarded cooperatives and organizations. And this should serve as models for us na kung ano yung successful, yung key to their successes ay i-harness natin. And kung meron ding nag-fail, we should also document that kasi we should learn from our past mistakes para sa susunod, hindi na natin gagawin. So yung tanong mo, if PCS they have documented and continue to monitor the progress of this cooperative.
So perhaps our different universities from north to south of the Philippines, you might want to develop proposals, applied research to assist our already organized farmers of coconut so that we can further uplift them. No? So perhaps we could be in one action to address the needs as presented by Ma'am Edna. Okay, I'll stop talking because I recognize a raised hand for a while. It was missed already. It is Miss Erica. I recall it is Miss Erica. Can you kindly unmute so that you can already converse actively with Ma'am Ed? Ma'am Erica? I saw you raised hand. Hi, Ma'am Erica. Okay. Perhaps there is a technical issue on her end, but likewise, we can proceed while awaiting other comments and clarifications for our Ma'am Ed. So Ma'am Ed, you also mentioned earlier that there is this value chain that you have shown. I'm just curious, is there a wide or a narrow gap between our producers and the end users? Do our end users have easy access on the production and the processed products of coconut?
I think ito ay problema. This is a problem not only with coconut, no. The disconnect between the growers and the processors or big players of the industry. Sabi ko nga, no, multi-layered ang ating marketing system. So, ang contact lang ng farmer is with the trader whom he deals with, at ang contact naman noong end user natin o processors ay yung kanilang trader, so the last end of the trading. So problema din yan dun sa but like I said, ang hope nga natin is not to eliminate, because there really is a need, katulad sa coconut, no. We have a lot of coconut areas that are in the uplands and they have accessibility problems. So yun din yung that's why kailangan din yung multi-tiered marketing system, no. It existed because there was a need for it. Sabi nga ni Dr. Losada when we were crafting the cocoa film, there are instances where it would take almost 3 months, no, for the copra process in the farm to reach the processing sector, the milling. Kaya kung ganun katagal, ilan na yung pinagdaanan noon, at nakita din natin yung deterioration in the quality, no. Although naaalis yun dun sa processing, but of course, mas efficient sana yung processing kung malinis na yung raw material to start with.
Thank you
So,
for
if there is disconnect
sharing
there,
that problem as well, Ma'am Ed, no? So again, there's a problem on addressing losses due to the distant far-flung areas, which is the production site, reaching the processing site. And then we also have to entertain, now I have my long list here, and chat box and Q&A. If you first address this one from an anonymous attendee, what is the greatest problem that coconut farmers are facing in collaborating with different public or private sectors? Siguro mas maganda, ma'am, we both address problems in collaboration with public sectors and private sectors. The Zoom space is yours, Ma'am Ed.
Okay, yung sa private sector, pinakita nga natin because of the disconnect, masyadong malayo yung ating farmers. And the farmers have to be heard. Siguro maganda talaga na they are naka-group sila, no? Hindi individual farmers, napakahirap yan, but as a group they should be heard. So ang maganda ngayon, I think isa dun sa mga recommendations natin, and it also came from the farmers, no, that they need a forum, no. So they need a forum where they could interact among themselves, the farmer to farmer, farmer groups to farmer groups, and where they could also interact with PCA and other government agencies and with the private sector. So merong forum that PCA during there is that farmers forum, but I think yung sinasabi nila na it should be a regular, you know, regular activity, hindi kailangan centralized. It should be decentralized sa kanilang probinsya, sa kanilang regions, no, that they have that ability. Now, in the recent, with the CFIDP, no, ni-reconfigure din yung board ng PCA, and through a democratic process, they have now 3 sitting farmer representatives from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So I think they should already be heard, no? So kailangan talaga maiparating nila dito sa kanilang mga board members, representatives, yung mga hinaing ng ating mga farmers, and then they could facilitate networking, no? With the private sector, I think syempre palaging PCA ang magbi-bridge niyan, and of course the local government units, no, could also help.
Okay, ma'am, thank you very much for that update.
Our farmers has to be empowered to seek the help that they need, to seek the information and the networking that they need. So yun talaga, continuous strengthening the participation of our farmers in cooperatives and organizations, and to strengthen these cooperatives so that they do service to their members. Ayan po.
Yes, as
I hope I
mentioned
answered
by
the
Ma'am
question.
Ed earlier, the central part of our cocoa industry are our farmers. So Ma'am Ed, this is another question from anonymous viewer. Ayan, shy type kayo ha. Please identify yourself. This is initiating our partnership and collaboration. Okay, Ma'am Ed, this is the question. Are
Mhm.
farmer groups welcome to collaborate with research on coconut production?
Mhm.
Also, can farmer groups partake in the rehabilitation of coconut stands, as some of our production areas have old coconut trees and some are devastated by typhoons before, and replanting was not focused into? Pwede po kaya yon? Thank you po. Ayan, sabi na magpakilala. So sana mas site-specific ang sagot ni Ma'am Ed. Manghuhula si Ma'am Ed. Ano ang devastated by typhoon from north to south of the Philippines? Sige, Ma'am
Oo.
Ed, carry.
Opo, talagang yun pong ating mga devastated area, sabi ko nga, hindi pa nakaka-recover yung ibang area. Eto na naman, madedevastate na naman. So talagang hindi po makaagapay. I think may mga programa po that involves the farmers' participation in growing coconut, yung mga nursery establishment. And that is part of the recommendations po doon sa Coco Film, which DA already adopted, and through the CFIDP doon sa hybridization program, meron din po doon yung mga establishment ng that could be managed by communities, by coconut organizations and communities. So opo, talagang maganda po talaga that you are part of that effort to rehabilitate, dahil pero ganun pa nga po, yung isang question siguro iduduksong ko na diyan yung isang nakita kong question na sabi niya hindi naman lahat ng areas ay di lahat ng areas ay naaabot ng PCA, ang role ng ating LGU sa malalayong lugar. Yun po, tama po yun. You seek the assistance of your LGUs at maiparating po nila, kasi although ang PCA po ang isang CDO, maganda po sana kung may taga PCA tayo dito, baka sila ang magandang sumagot nun. Hindi ang isang CDO po, minsan 5 munisipyo ang hawak. Po, ang municipal agriculture officer naman po natin ay lahat po ng crops, lahat po ng animals ay hawak po nila, So talaga pong we really need, while they can help us, kung maipaparating po natin sa kanila ang ating mga hinaing. At maganda po na hindi po pagpunta natin sa kanila ay hindi po complain, kung hindi meron po tayong proposed solution, po. Ganito po ang nangyari, kami po inaapektuhan ng bagyo. Kailangan po namin sa aming community ng 1,000 seedlings pamalit po doon sa naapektuhan. So ganun po, So hindi po pwedeng isa-isa, kasi sa dami po ng concerns ng mga iyan ay but yun po, with the CFIDP na naka-focus po talaga doon sa farmers welfare, po, ay mai-strengthen na po yan. Pero sabi ko nga po, there is strength in numbers, po. So maganda po kung kayo ay isang organisasyon, isang komunidad na nagsasabi po ng inyong mga hinaing at mga pangangailangan. And I'm sure po that PCA, with the additional resources provided and the mandate given to the other implementing agencies to support, to support po yung coconut industry, ay maha-harness po natin itong collaborations that we find lacking before, po. So yun po, at syempre andyan din po, i-harness din natin yung private sector, because they already expressed their willingness. Iparating lang po siguro sa kanila yung ating pangangailangan. Ayun po. I hope I answered that question.
Okay po, kung meron pang gustong magtanong ay muli namin kayong inaanyayahan na ilatag ang inyong mga katanungan, ang inyong mga nais pang ibigay na komento sa ating chat box o sa ating Q&A box so that Ma'am Edna could fully address your concerns. So as we are going through, no, as discussed by Ma'am Edna, we have this so-called PPP, private public partnership. Hindi tayo nag-iisa. Ano man ang mga katugunan na kailangang masaklawan tungkol sa coconut, hindi lang ang ating government ang mag-iisang dadalo nun. You have your partners in the LGU, in the academe. Kaya nga, ang dami natin dito from the academe, no? You can tap that, including, sabi nga ni Ma'am Ed, andyan ang private sector, very willing to assist us, especially that the private sector has funds, no, to easily mobilize. Mas mabilis yung
And they
kanilang
stand to benefit
yes,
no?
ma'am, movement.
from
Unlike sa government, meron pa tayong mga bidding, pero there is really no the full support of the government. So, I am just to check again the Q&A, may linya ulit dito. I would like to recognize, if you want to ask personally your concerns or your other statements with Ma'am Ed, you just raise your hand. This is from Elmo Jetro Bawas. Good day po. Ma'am, may we know what is causing some of the fruits turning black? Not necessarily all the meat, but mostly partial, or the meat is somewhat.
Mahirap po yatang sagutin yan. Kung meron po tayong taga NCPC dito o taga PCA, baka po mas marami po kasing causes yung pag malformed o ng fruits, no po. So it could be pwede pong peste, pero pwede din pong gawa ng panahon, no, o during the development of the fruit. So base po doon sa binigay ninyo na symptoms, hindi ko po masasagot na baka magkamali lamang ako, kasi marami pong possible causes po iyon. Pero maganda pong tingnan natin, kailan po ba yun uma-appear, yun po ba sa lahat ng puno sa inyong bukirin, o isang puno lamang, lahat po ba ng bunches, o at ito po ba'y lumalabas sa yung panahon ba ng tag-ulan, panahon ng tag-ulan. So marami po tayong dapat pong i-consider. Opo.
Okay, ma'am. Ed, thank you for your answer. Perhaps, Sir Elmo Jetro Bawas, if you could provide details on what was inquired by Ma'am
Sure,
Ed. Okay. You
Bibigay
can
po natin
email
sa
po
ating
and
NCPC.
reach out to iCrops CAFs. Okay po.
Ito.
Then there's another question here. How can the poor coconut farmers access CFIDP and government services at the grassroots level, especially at the barangay level, if the PCA and other government offices implementing CFIDP are in the regions, and usually the LGUs are lenient in implementing and cascading these CFIP programs. Also, how does the government help the farmers cluster if they cannot write and organize themselves, because creating an organization, cooperative, has many documentary requirements that are difficult for poor coconut farmers and workers to comply? A very challenging question, Ma'am Ed.
I know. Salamat po sa tanong, no. So unang-una po, kung kayo po ay coconut farmer that falls in the 4 categories na kinaklasify po ng PCA, una-una po yung dapat gawin ay magparehistro po sa National Coconut Farmers Registry System, no. Once you are registered, sabi po dun sa CFIDP bylaw, no, na those who are owning less than 5 hectares are entitled, no, are entitled to benefit from the proceeds of the Coco Levy Trust Fund Act. So yun po ang unang-una, kasi kung wala po kayo sa listahan, ay hindi po kayo mako-consider na coconut farmer. Pero yung kino-consider nilang coconut farmer, you could be an owner, You could be a caretaker, you could be a tenant, you could even be a coconut farm worker. Ano po. So, yun po yung classification. So, doon po sa far-flung barangay, siyempre po talaga pong ang punta po natin kung hindi po kayo miyembro ng isang organization, maganda po na matulungan po kayo, no? And doon po sa CFIDP kasi meron pong kasama po doon ang NDA, so National yung cooperative agency, no? Para tulungan na i-strengthen ng cooperatives, pero kayo po dapat ay to be members kasi mahirap other than the social protection, I think, no, ay yung pong ibang mga projects para po tayo ay maka-avail because of the clustering concept po, dahil gusto natin ay commercialize. Talagang kailangan po ay maging sumama po kayo at magmiyembro ng isang organisasyon, no? And then so that by strengthening the organizations, the members are also being strengthened. So yung po sinasabi ninyo na ang LGU nakakalungkot po kung gano'n, but talaga pong ang makakatulong po sa atin ay ang ating Municipal Agriculture Office. So siguro po sa barangay, within the barangay mismo, meron naman po tayong Committee on Agriculture sa barangay. Ano po? Tayo po ay lumapit doon, magsama-sama po tayong mga farmers na concerned, at maggawa po na isa sigurong resolusyon at iparating po sa munisipyo, sa PCA, no? At hindi po yan pwedeng i-ignore po ng ating pong mga nasa gobyerno dahil po yan ay nakasaad po sa batas. Ano po? So yun lang pong masasabi ko, talaga pong we need to assert. So siguro maging assertive po tayo, maging proactive po tayo dahil po para po makuha natin yung suportang kailangan po natin. At lumapit po tayo sa mga dapat pong lapitan at sabi nga, there is strength in numbers. Kung kayo po ay nasa isang barangay, kahit hindi po kayo organisado, pumirma po kayo na pero unang-una po talaga, kailangan po magpalista po kayo doon magpa-register po kayo doon sa NCFRS. Yun po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ed, for the advice and guidance. So, you just have to ensure your persistent visibility. Pag inaaraw-araw nyo na po si Kapitan, ay hindi po lalayo ang pagkakataon. Sasamahan niya siguro kayo mismo sa BAW.
Mag-grupo po tayo.
Ayan. Okay, I saw a raised hand earlier. May I call on the Zoom space, Zolak, Mr. Ronald C. Leonor? You are recognized, sir. The Zoom space is yours. Mr. Ronald C. Leonor. Okay. I think there's another technical problem. I am not hearing his voice again, but if you may want, you may use our Q&A or the chat box po, because we have just very few remaining minutes to have your interactive engagement with our Professor Edna A. Aguilar. Okay, this is just once in a blue moon because Ma'am Ed is really a busybody. So take this opportunity to throw your questions and also make your clarifications. So while waiting for that one, Ma'am Ed, what is the edge? No? If in case a particular coconut farm would have its GAP certification.
Ganito po, increasingly, sabi nga natin, the market, yung pong international market na natin po, ang nagde-demand ng traceability, sustainable practices, no? At yan po ay tinatanggap lamang nila kung ikaw ay certified. Pero halimbawa po, ang nangyayari, ang ginagawa po ng mga, at ito po ay halimbawa, yung isang processor natin, ang gusto niya BC o organic production. So siya na po ang nagkukusa na sumuporta sa mga farmers na nagsusupply sa kanya to have them certified. No po. So, yun po yung kagandahan pagka po tayo ay nakakonekta nga sa market kasi tinutulungan nila na maging certified ang iyong farm so that nagbe-benefit ang farmer kasi meron siyang premium price, no? Na ibinibigay, meron siyang sure market, no? Ang processor naman po nagbe-benefit dahil nako-comply nila yung requirements ng kanilang market. At sigurado sila na ang sinusupply sa kanila ay nagko-comply doon sa quality requirements din po nila. So, yun po maraming benefits on our own kasi po napakamahal, no? Ang kailangan kasi ngayon ay third party certification. So, hindi po natin pwedeng i-claim na tayo organic kahit sa tingin po natin organic ng ating kung wala tayong certification. Pero napakamahal po. So, ang ating pong BAP ay nagsusuporta, no, di ba? Ng certification for organic. I hope kung meron tayo diyan sa audience na mas marunong tungkol doon sa certification ay it will help me answer and clarify, ano. Pero yun po yung ating doon. Kaya sabi nga po nung kausap namin yung mga exporters, they are willing to support, no, certification. So that you can improve your practice. Meron din po namang isang sabi na hindi naman lahat pwedeng ma-certify kaagad, So, yung pong approach na ginawa nung isang hindi naman po sa coconut but I think sa saging is good enough, sabi niya. Good enough, no? So, incremental changes in our management practices until such time na compliant na pala tayo sa GAP, at pwede na tayong magpa-certify. And then, doon po ay isinama po natin iyan yung support to certification doon po sa CFIDP at yan po ay nakapasok din po sa COCOFIN. So, ayan po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ed. And now we have a question relating to pest and disease management. Although earlier, Ma'am Ed mentioned about Cocolisap. Meron from anonymous attendee. Good day,
Puro
ma'am.
anonymous.
Side
Okay.
question lang po. At least, no, side question. Regarding disease po, now which are mainly common on coconut production or farming? Pwede po bang malaman kung ano-ano yon? Same with what are causing them and how to prevent the examples of diseases. Thank you and God bless. God bless you to our anonymous attendee.
Okay. Sabi ko nga po, hindi po ako crop protection specialist, Pero ang alam, meron po tayong sinasabi natin, I think ang feedtech, meron po tayong mga applications at ang PCA po, napakarami na pong inilabas na mga brochure po, tungkol po sa mga peste ng peste at sakit ng coconut. Siguro yung anonymous na ito, ibigay po ninyo ang pangalan ninyo kahit sa secretariat lamang at ipapadala po namin sa inyo. Ito pong i-refer namin kayo sa PCA, pero kung anong meron po tayo dito sa university ay pwede din po natin ipadala po sa inyo. So, hindi ko po sasagutin ng diretso, baka magkamali lamang ako kung ano nga talaga ang number 1, ang major, but yun po ang masasabi ko. Marami po na compendium, ng sakit, may mga pictures, at yung application po na sinasabi ko sa inyo sa SpeedTech, i-check ko lang po kung kasama na ang coconut. Yung po ay may mga pictorial representations po, face recognition din, Patutulungan nyo yung app na maging mas tama kung magpapadala din kayo ng picture doon. Sasabihin niya sa iyo ano itong insekto na ito o ano itong sakit na ito at paano mo iko-control. Ayan po.
So, Ma'am Ed, is that really our crop and farming system specialist, but now speaking like an expert on networking and linkaging. She's
Opo.
now operationalizing, forging partnership with you. So just please send your concerns to the secretariat of this webinar. Ma'am,
Ito
another
po,
question
ita-type ko po yung Ito na para. Ang secretariat itatype po kung saan kayo pwedeng sumulat. Pero sabi ko nga, yung pong nagtanong, ipaki-ano lang po tayo na pakibigay ang inyong email dito sa chat box. At I will ask our colleagues to send you the information that you are asking. Yeah.
Ayan,
Thank you.
extended service talaga, sabi sa inyo eh. Okay,
Oo.
Ma'am Ed, ito pa ha. Patience, please. What are the ways that you can provide to assure that our poor coconut farmers are sufficiently compensated and that the assistance from the private sectors are justifiable in accordance with the coconut yield of these farmers? Yeah, pro-farmer talaga ang usapan.
Oo.
Thank you, Mr. or Miss Anonymous Attendee, for your question. Ma'am, the Zoom space is
What are
yours.
the ways you can provide to assure the poor coconut farmers are sufficiently compensated and the assistance from the private sector? Okay. Mahirap po yun, ano, na ako magbibigay ng assurance kasi tayo po ay hindi direkta. Pero ganito po siguro ang aking masasabi po sa inyo. Sabi ko nga po, ang future po ng coconut industry as a whole ay nakadepende po sa farmers continuing to plant and care for your coconut, for the coconut. Nakikita po natin na papaano po tayo matutulungan yung pong professionalization ng coconut workforce. Ano po? Kasi makikita natin kung halimbawa po kayo po ay nag-form ng isang cooperative, yung cooperative po mag-form ng kanyang service crew. Ito pong service crew na ito, sabi nga namin, yung table research lamang po ito. Yung 12 tao po, ay na nagwo-work po ng 2 hectares every day. Pag nag-rotate po sila, ang harvesting po natin ba 60 days, every 60 days sa coconut. So isang grupo po, mag-harvest sila, iikot sila, kaya po nila para pakabalik sila dun sa unang inikutan nila, 115 hectares ang kaya nilang i-service. So, ano po ang pwedeng dito? So, they will be trained. Paano ang tamang harvesting? Minsan po kasi ang ating pong harvesters ay by piece po ang bayad kasi dyan. Kaya kung ako ang mag-harvest, 2, 3 bunches ang ibababa ko. Kahit ang kailangan halimbawa ng BCO ay 11 months sana na kabuo. Kaya lang, ako'y binabayaran ng per piece. So, kung ikaw naman ay kasama dun sa service crew, ang market ninyo ay ito, yun lang din ang i-harvest mo. But you are being compensated para kang wage earner. So, yun po yung sinasabi ko. Pagka po, then, kung ikaw ay wage earner, pwede ka na ring maging member ng SSS. So, you become, naka-mainstream ka doon sa ating workforce. Pwede din po na ang private sector ay magbuo ng kanyang service crew. Bigyan po kayo ng, very ideal po yun sa amin. Sabi namin, bigyan kayo ng isang truck, bigyan kayo ng isang traktora, para kung halimbawa kailangan ninyong maglinis ng nyugan, kailangan ninyo ng pag-harvest, so i-harvest niyo, pag napuno na yon, dala ng diretso sa kanila, So it saves a lot, it becomes efficient and professionalized. So yun po yung sinasabi, kung ganun po yung yun pong ating mga ay magugrupo, pero pwede pong LGU, pwede pong cooperative, pwede pong private individual, pwede pong processor, ang pwede pong mag-finance o magbuo po ng isang service group. Pwede po kayong grupo na lamang, po. Kasi halimbawa po sa CFIDP, pwede din pong magpautang. Meron po yung pautang. So kung halimbawa ang cooperative 112 hectares, ilang miyembro po yan na magko-commit na sige, i-list mo sa akin o kaya sige, kayo na ang mag-harvest ng lahat, share na lang, may sharing na lang ako, then medyo po maa-assure tayo na malilinis. Kasi yun po ang isang problema natin yung paglilinis, kaya po mababa ang ating production, no? Hindi na fertilize, hindi nalilinis, wala. Parang ang tawag nga natin doon ay anong tawag dito? Organic by default. No po. Ayaw sana natin yung gamitin, pero ganun po ang karamihan po sa ating mga coconut areas. Pero kailangan po nating i-level up. Paano po natin mai-improve? Hindi, pag tinamnan po natin yan, it will take another 8 years. At kung hindi din nyo naman po iyan aalagaan, no, ay hindi din po yan maibibigay yung karampatang yung pong potential na amin. So there is much room for improvement of our existing coconut areas. The technologies are available, pero bakit po hindi nasusustain? Kasi po nga may mga kadahilanan internal within the control of the farmers at external po sa kanila. No po. So ang gusto po sana natin, matulungan po natin yung ating farm sector na ma-improve by providing them incentives, providing them support, no? Pero maganda po sana gawin na ng farmers din at they should be incentivized by the private sector, by the government, by the LGU for doing good, no? And for improving their coconut production. So yun po ang ating ano. Madami po tayong room for improvement, but how? How can it be sustained? Paano po? Sana yung fertilization project, pag hindi ka binigyan ng fertilizer, hindi mo na-invest. Sabi ko nga po, kasi mahirap sa farmer. Limited ang resources ko, i-invest ko pa ba yan sa fertilizer na ang bunga, ang increase sa bunga ay makikita ko in 1 to 2 years. No? Pero kung mag-intercrop po tayo na ipakita po namin yun at meron na pong mga ebidensya yan, without basta inalaga mo ng ayos ang intercrop mo, magbe-benefit po ang coconut ninyo. So, yun po.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ed. So really, no, if we take good care of our coconut farms, more or less, we can have a gauge of something could be compensated. So another question is coming from Sir Elmer Caballes from CMU. As we know today, farmers' age is getting older and their children interest to farming or agriculture become lesser. What would be the role of the academe, the SUCs in promoting the prioritization and on the formulation of the government policy for a collaborative projects to sustain the agriculture sector, particularly coconut and other commodities, which also involve agri-students and agri-professionals. Yan, Ma'am Ed.
Oo, yan po talaga ang isang problema natin. Kaya nga po doon sa, dito po sa CFIDP, no, marami pong involved na agencies at meron din po itong kaakibat na scholarship program. So, ang sabi po natin, bukod po dito, kailangan po i-cater sana natin yung future needs ng coconut para masiguro natin na patuloy na may mga professional. Kailangan po, ang coconut breeder po, iilan. Ang crop protection po sa PCA ay iilan. Ano po? So, wala po talaga tayong mga sabihin na nating course na very specific sa coconut. Although meron po kaming coconut chemistry, kasama yan doon sa yung pong pag-grow ng coconut, kasama sa industrial natin. No? So, pero hindi po natin kailangan siguro na lahat ay maging college degree or BS degree. No po? Dahil po, marami pong skills na pangangailangan ang coconut at yan po ang nakalagay po yan doon sa CFIDP. Paano po natin ma-entice ang ating pong mga bata na to go into farming, coconut farming and other farming activities? Ang palagi ko pong sinasabi diyan, we have to make the coconut, sabi nila agri-cool, Pero sabi ko nga po, sana po ay we make farming less tedious, no? Through the use of new technologies, no po. Yan pong pag-monitor po ng mga sakit, yan pong sabi natin, use of the drone technology and remote sensing, no po. So yan po, maganda po yan na, yung pong sinabi ko, how to make our our more climate resilient. No po? So ito po ang mga activities that our academe can go into at mga proyekto po na pwede nating ibigay po sa ating mga bata para po sila ma-interest. Ano po? How do we harmonize? Yung pong anong pong ginagawa namin yung COCOFIM, meron pong date, meron pong roadmap na ibinigay ang mga regions ng PCA, no po. Pero ang datos po minsan hindi po nagtutugma doon sa datos po na nasa PSA. Ang mandate po na magre-release ng statistics ay nasa PSA. So maganda po, paano po natin ma-develop ang ating policy, ang ating decision making, saan tayo mag-i-invest kung hindi po tama ang ating statistika. So yun po ang isa. Paano po natin mamomonitor na ito pong planting and replanting program natin ay successful? So maganda po, kayang-kaya po yung makita sa drone, no? Kahit sa yung satellite imaging, kaya po dahil ang coconut naman po ay unique ang architecture. So maganda po yan na ma-harness po natin. Kung saan man po kayo, nasa CMU, maganda po na makita po natin yan. Ano? Yung pong halimbawa sabi natin, devastation ng kokolisap sa basitan. Kung hindi po tayo makakapunta sa basitan, pwede naman po natin yung makita remotely, no? So makikita natin ngayon po ba ay naka-recover na po ba, no? So yun po, marami po tayong pwedeng collaboration, but ang sinasabi ko lang po, there is a need, continuing need for the coconut industry to develop capability to support it, no, to support the industry. Ayan po.
Thank you, Ma'am Ed. Therefore, highlighting development of our new champions to address the challenges in cocoa industry. Apologies, everyone, but I can only accommodate this last question. So if you have concerns later on, you just email the provided email address in the chat box. Ma'am Ed, last questions na po. Oh, there's a raised hand. Apologies, my dear Rose. Miss Ivy Rose, apologies, really. GMOs provide sustainable crops to farmers against pests. Is there a possibility that the Philippine coconut industry will consider the production of genetically modified coconut? Ma'am Ed, the Zoom space is yours.
Okay, sa akin po, hindi ko masasabi ang we have napakadami po, napakalawak po ng variability sa coconut, no po. Sabi niya, yung International Gene Bank ng ICC worldwide would have more than 200 accessions or genotypes of coconut. Ang ating pong sariling gene bank sa Zamboanga would have more than 140 yung pong hinahanap natin na tolerance or resistance, baka po makita natin doon po sa ating variability. Palagay ko po matagal pa yan kung hindi po in the siguro not in my lifetime, in our lifetime.
Okay, thank you very much. At least there are prospects as well for future research engagement. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, I really need to close our open forum. I now return the Zoom space to our Master of Ceremonies, Ma'am Dayan.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edna Aguilar, our resource speaker, to Dr. Roslyn Paelmo for facilitating our open forum and for serving as our moderator. And to our participants, thank you very much for actively engaging in the discussion. And we hope that our resource speaker was able to respond accordingly to the questions raised. And I'm also sure that we have learned a lot from today's session, wherein Dr. Edna Aguilar highlighted the need for a systems approach towards increasing coconut production, which is possible through active and multi-sectoral collaborations. She integrated the inputs of the previous speakers to come up with such recommendations and prospects to address the concern on low coconut productivity. Dr. Aguilar emphasized that coconut is a pillar of our economy, therefore must be maximized for the greater good by employing the holistic approach where the farmers must also participate in the process to meet the demands of the industry. With the data presented, Dr. Aguilar explained that the coconut farmers are among the poorest and remains marginalized. And to address the problem and the low coconut productivity, our resource speaker recommended the climate resilient coconut-based farming systems approach, including farm diversification, adoption of good agricultural practices or organic production of coconut systems, cooperative marketing, innovation to support the coconut production sector, provision of trainings to the coconut workforce, and of course, the public and private partnerships. All right, and as a token of our appreciation for our speakers' valuable time and contribution to our session this afternoon, we are presenting her this certificate. So let me just read the citation. So the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, present the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Edna A. Aguilar for serving as the resource person on the collaboration and prospects during the Aggie Peace Talk Tree of Life held on 27 October 2022 via Zoom and given today at the College of Agriculture and Food Science, University of the Philippines, Los Baños, signed by our Dean Elpidio M. Agbisi Jr. So once again, thank you very much. So you let us all give a virtual applause to our resource speaker for that very comprehensive discussion and presentation. All right, so for our announcement, so ulitin lamang po natin, ano? If you haven't done yet, please like and follow CAF's official Facebook page. All right, so I hope our technical team is ready as we will also present yung ating evaluation form. Ayan. So again, please like and follow UPLB College of Agriculture and Food Science Facebook page. Next, all right, so to get your certificate, no, e-certificate, please evaluate this webinar. But our session is not yet over as we still have the closing remarks. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome again on the virtual space Dr. Roslyn Paelmo for the closing remarks. Ma'am?
Thank you very much, Ma'am Dayan. Everyone, I hope that you are still in your peak of aliveness and interest as I would be sharing with you the closing remarks for this particular program. This is just a closing remarks, but then as I have overemphasized earlier, these already forge or initiate our partnership. So continue on not only on answering the evaluation form, not to earn your certificate, but also for us to record your email address. So later on, we could build up further our partnership through the Institute of Crop Science and also the College of Agriculture and Food Science. Again, thank you very much, Ma'am Ed, for your time and effort, for all the sharing. I truly believe that it was worthwhile and a lot of our eager, enthusiast audience from north to south of the Philippines have already gained appreciation and further enhanced their awareness regarding the different challenges on the Philippine coconut industry. I would just like to leave this quotation with you. So importantly, we are on collaboration and prospect. So coco, as we know, coconut or our nyog or our buko. Coco, for our purpose now, stands for create our collaboration operational. So with that, good afternoon, everyone, and keep safe, healthy, and most especially, be happy. Thank you, Ma'am Dayan. The Zoom space is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roslyn Paelmo, Research Coordinator from the Institute of Crop Science. So napaka-energetic ni Mama, no? So it is clear that we aim for a sustainable coconut industry, and this could be possible for public-private partnerships and vigorous collaboration as well as good leadership. Indeed, The coconut industry contributes socioeconomically and environmentally towards the achievement of our sustainable development goals. It is significant to determine the prospects for us to prepare, establish, and implement appropriate solutions to the challenges in the agricultural sector. Without a doubt, strong and proper collaboration is one of the keys to ensure that plans will materialize, especially to boost coconut production. Although challenges are along the way, we must not fear, but instead take steps forward as opportunities await. All right, so para po sa hindi mga nakakuha ng evaluation form, we will flash that later. So for our announcement, so sa darating po na Nobyembre, meron pa rin po tayong CAFS webinar series tungkol naman po sa rice. So we will keep you posted through our social media accounts, and next year, January 2023, ay mayroon pa rin po tayong coconut webinar series. But for this year, we have this fourth and last episode. All right. So next announcement po natin. Ayan, so the Institute of Crop Science is also celebrating its Foundation Day. So ika-anim na pagkakatatag na po ng Institute of Crop Science, ika-anim na taon. Alright, so suportahan po natin ang kanilang mga programa para sa kanilang selebrasyon as one of the institutions po ng College of Agriculture and Food Science. At sa ating po mga ka-Aggies, sa darating po na Biyernes, ika-28 ng Oktubre, taong kasalukuyan, ay gaganapin po ang Oktoberfest. So ito po ay bukas sa lahat po ng mga empleyado under the College of Agriculture and Food Science. So break time po muna tayo ng Friday dahil magsisimula po ang programa mula alas 7 ng umaga. So nariyan po iba't ibang sports at ang inaabangan po na Battle of the Bands. Alright, so kung hindi niyo po napanood ang episodes 1, 2, and 3, don't worry dahil yan po ay nasa ating CAFS official Facebook page. So maaari niyo po yung balikan para lalong higit na kayo ay may matutunan po sa ating mga webinar series. Alright, so we would also like to acknowledge the ating ad hoc committee for the Aggie Peace Talk Tree of Life webinar, and of course, the CAFS Extension Committee for organizing this event at ang ating webinar series. On behalf of the ad hoc committee for the Aggie's Peace Talk Tree of Life webinar, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to our resource speaker, to our participants, and to those who assisted us to make this event possible. We also hope that this program was beneficial and that you have learned a lot today. And we hope that you will join us again in the upcoming webinars, so we will keep you posted through CAF's social media accounts. Muli, maraming salamat po. This has been your host, Diane Ubaldo from CAF's UPLB. Have a good day and keep safe.
A 112 years ago, the UP Board of Regents had a vision to develop their true firstborn college that will spearhead national development through agriculture. At the foot of Mount Makiling, Edwin B. Copeland, together with 7 faculty and 12 students, embarked on the journey to create the UP College of Agriculture, or UPCA. Through its 112 years of existence, the college has produced over 1,000 technologies and variety of plants and animals, 9 national scientists, over 30 outstanding young scientists, and more than 18,000 graduates contributing to agricultural development. UPCA, now College of Agriculture and Food Science, or CAFS, has been continuously contributing to nation building through its instruction, research, and extension function. A mere 10 years after establishment, the college was able to start breeding works with the production of sugarcane varieties with high productivity and resistance to Fiji and mosaic disease. In the 1920s, the importance of agriculture was intensified and UPCA was recognized as neighboring countries began sending their students to Los Baños because of the high quality of education. In the 1930s, breeds with superior characteristics such as the Burkhala pig, Los Baños Cantonese chicken, and Philippine cattle were developed. The 1960s was a fruitful decade for research. Makapuno